Beholder is a dystopia. That's really obvious based on the surveillance and glorious leader hype. But did you also notice that the year is 1984? You know, like the book. Also, one of the tenants that you can have in the building says that he worked at border security. He has a very specific family that's coming to live with him, and he shot someone at the border. This sure sounds like the guy from Papers, Please. Not to mention the fact that Papers, Please is one of the objective titles in the game. I think we have a shared dystopia universe on our hands. What's up, guys? I'm a son of Benedict. Beholder is a gem of a game that I didn't know I wanted. Every single decision matters in this game, and the fate of your family and country is dependent on your actions. This is more than can be said for most choice-based games. Either way, Beholder is awesome. For those who don't know, Beholder is a game where you play as a government-hired landlord in a dystopian country called Helmer that constantly controls what its people think and say, to a very literal extent, actually. You are instructed to report people who break laws like having fish in their room, possessing foreign music or soda, or talking about the war. You can choose not to do these things, but your family will suffer at the hands of the government. The rest of the story is determined by who is left. If you know me, you might expect this video to be about the ethics of some of the choices in Beholder. Is it okay to blackmail? Should you actually profile your tenants? Should you arrest someone who has soda because they threatened your family? Yes, that was actually a thing. If you thought this, you would be half right. We are going to talk about ethics, but not in the main game. We're not even going to talk about any of the choices you're given. We're going to talk about the state directive called Blissful Sleep. I need to put a huge disclaimer here. I've been making jokes throughout the intro, and this game certainly has a dark sense of humor, but blissful sleep is a euphemism for euthanasia, or assisted suicide. Although this game is cartoony in its aesthetic, and does have some dark humor, it does take euthanasia seriously. I won't talk about it lightly either. There is a great thought experiment this game lies in front of us that we should explore, but it can hit a little close to home. You have been warned. Blissful Sleep is a government-sponsored procedure to reward its elderly citizens for their service to the great state. Anyone 85 and older must have this procedure. Of course, once you dig away the fuzzy language, the state is killing off anyone who is too old to work. The character you play as, Hector, receives a gift from the Ministry of Congratulations on his 85th birthday. He's actually 65 years old. Hector tries to correct his mistake, but his boss makes it clear that the state does not make mistakes. Hector has 2 weeks to put his affairs in order and find a way to stay alive. It's unclear if the mistake of Hector being 85 is really just a mistake that cost him his life, or if the state was trying to get rid of him for some reason. Later in the game, you do find someone who does say they have a lot of people that aren't elderly coming in for the procedure. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Hector is still being euthanized. Euthanasia does exist in the real world, but it's usually sold very differently. Patients in hospitals are the ones that choose euthanasia, not the state. People get euthanized if there isn't any hope to recover from a terminal illness, or if they're elderly and want to choose when they die so it's not as scary. Countries don't kill off their patients who are no longer useful like they do in Beholder, do they? They do, actually. According to the Kennedy Institute of Ethics, over half of the euthanized patients in Belgium over the age of 80 did not consent. People in Holland are scared to go to the hospital. Many people I know personally are scared of being organ donors in case the doctors decide they want organs now instead of after they pass away. And those people are in the US. There are more articles in the description on this if you're interested. The question Beholder asks us is, why do we value human life? Helmer only values a human insofar as he or she can serve the state. If they can't serve the state anymore, they're killed off. Life is measured by its usefulness, according to Helmer. According to the Catholic Church, and according to many sentiments of average people, life is valuable in and of itself. Usefulness isn't part of the question. The life of someone who's fit and working 40 hours a week is just as valuable as an amputee with cancer. With the situation in Belgium and other European countries, it's not explicitly clear what the reasoning behind involuntary euthanasia is about. However, if human life is only as good as it is useful, no one above the age of 80 is safe. Is life after 80 a waste of space? I don't pose these as rhetorical questions. The Church answers that all human life is valuable. Many Catholics adopt the motto from conception to natural death. Euthanasia isn't okay even with consent according to the Catholic view. Even if you want to argue that usefulness is the standard, 80-plus-year-olds aren't useless. There is value in their wisdom and prayer, and as weird as it can sound, there is spiritual value in suffering too. Although, in a place like Helmer, it doesn't appear that faith or religion exists. Unless, of course, you're worshipping our glorious leader. Saint Benedict and Saint Scholastica, pray for us.